I love that we're like us to each other before this pod starts. Yeah, like just a fucking 30 minute pod. We just won't do the stuff about our team. We're fucking psychotic.
Whatever. We're not
dude.
Pod for a while.
Well,
so
I'm not going to work here anymore. And support for this podcast comes from the patrons at patreon.com/FMLFPL. FMLFPL Milan.
This Walsh.
He's got the smile back, baby. What's up?
It's gonna be a spicy one tonight. I can feel it. Sunday night. This is the first, like night of game day pod where we're more raw. We don't have the 24 hours.
Yeah.
To separate from the events.
Yeah. No marination of thought.
No,
just
Bruno blank.
Yeah, just pure captaincy, non-haul, and red arrows. The return of red arrows, and
all right. So what? You go ahead. We'll keep rolling with your.
So I finished on 54.
Yeah. Bruno.
Pretty
I feel so bad.
I down 300K, 1.5 mil, which is still obviously salvageable, but it still feels fucking horrible. Yeah, cap Bruno with you. I mean, he got more than last week.
That's true.
He doubled his points from last week.
That's
and
true.
I doubled the double with the captain. So it kind of hauled if you think about it.
I feel like if I wasn't so bullish on him, though, in the pod, that you would have sat on Antonio and been fine. One
of the things I wrote down in my little tit for the, pod that I always do is, do we actually positively influence each other in FPL?
I don't think we do at all.
I think we don't because... we watch games, we read articles, listen to pods, whatever, and then we kind of just pod twice a week and tell each other stories and fantasies that we've just basically come up with in our head. And they're good stories. Like, I like hearing it, I like talking about it, but it's very easy to tell a good story. And it's another thing to have it actually play out before you and be executed because there's, as we know, infinite variables and variants in this game and things that could go wrong or could go not as planned. And
well, it's easy to be bad at FPL, and we got that down.
Yeah, we're fucking insane at that. I mean, we're over the top bullish on the things we like, and we're also over the top bearish on the things we don't like. Is just like what we need to work on. But yeah, Bruno, fuck me. Everyone went Antonio, and he donged as such. I just didn't really get other points. I mean, I got the Tony 6, Mane assist for the Mo. But,
Tony got one finally for you.
Yeah. Tony dong. I got
right place,
Dyer.
right time, kind of a goal.
Yeah, Dyer 7-pointer, but quiet all over the place when a lot of the high-owned guys, came through, Greenwood and Shaw.
Greenwood, dude, unbelievable. Fucking every game he scores.
Yeah, every game. Who else scored? Son. I don't even know.
DCL.
Ings finally didn't score.
DCL
Pen. Vardy.
Well, Ings got a assist, right?
He got an assist, yeah. Vardy, Hall. But really, it was captaincy. I mean, I don't know what the actual average was among the competitive whatever people, but losing a lot of points on cap, we're just always going to be below there.
Especially now when, you talk about you threw 9 points out, that's like 500K.
Yeah.
So, I realize I'm 3 for 3 on my vice captain, outscoring my captain so far.
Really?
So maybe we'll be able to continue that on 4 for 4 next week. We'll see. We'll have to wait 2 weeks for that.
I forgot to mention my transfer, which I did Banff to Antonio, which was 3 points.
Few points.
It didn't really matter, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still good.
It's better. Yeah,
it's a better, more points and also just a better pick for the immediate term and whatever.
Think so.
All right, so I same cap, but I finished on 62. I mean, I did get pretty good chip returns everywhere. I brought Regs and Benrahma in. Regs got 9. That was nice. Grealish got me some points again. Bamford finally fucking scored a goal. This felt so lucky, dude. The relief when he scored was
awful.
Yeah, that game was just a disaster. I mean, Ailing is so bad, but yeah, I don't know. I got some points here and there. Mo, Antonio. Yeah, Bachman got 4. Finally didn't get 1 point. Love that.
Well, and then, you talked me into Antonio, and I simultaneously talk you out of Ferran. Side said, is Daddy Walsh FPL Nostradamus genius? Will he back his picks? Alex said, is Daddy in a bad mood? A lot of daddies and a lot of moods happening.
Yeah.
As Ferran drops 18, I think.
18, yeah. It was dark times in the house here. I'm not going to lie about that. The game was over before my child woke up and my wife woke up because the game was at 4:30 in the morning. I'm obviously can't wait to watch, little Jackie boy. And then the first, we talked about before the game that he was going to score, prepare. I was like, yeah, I know. Ha ha ha. LOL, LOL. And then he scores the goal and we're like, okay, cool. And then all the other things started happening. And I still, back the process of that. It was a mad shout to bring in Ferran for all the reasons that you brought up, and I was telling you a story of, the other version where Ferran scores 18 points basically. Yeah. And as I was why I was interested in him, right? That he's playing striker for City and he's 7 million or whatever. So yeah, I mean, I ended up losing about, what did I lose? 9 points on it or so, because Regs did get me something, and I would have had Livermento's 1 or whatever he got, so it wasn't as bad.
How did he not get an assist, by the way? Holy shit.
Livermento, yeah, I don't know.
Gineppo things.
Well, because Gineppo's in the fucking team, he's also terrible. So yeah, I mean, I do obviously feel like I didn't back myself, obviously, but yeah, it's nothing new. But I was definitely one of those where I was feeling it and I didn't do the feel, and I did the, like I said, and right, I did the, in quotes, safe, smart thing, that you would recommend other people to do. And, Benrahma was still playing striker. So,
and he was so good.
Yeah, I don't know about so good. He was good. I think I
didn't watch the game, but in highlights, he was fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, he was just fine. He was the same. He was similar to the first couple games, and he just didn't get the point. So I'm still happy that I have him. Yeah. But, it obviously missing out on a fucking triple return there is unreal from me to have done that. But yeah, it won't be the last time that something like this happens. So
yeah, and I think one of the things that I took away from that is also, I feel often, especially early season, and I mentioned this before the game week 1 pod, but I think too long term.
Yeah, that's why I was saying. Well, I was like, I always still have my wild card kind of thing,
Right, and it's almost like just week to week at this point, because one of these next 3-4 weeks, if not this week, a lot of people are wildcarding this week. We're both gonna pop it. We know that pretty much.
Yeah, we're not gonna not use it.
Yeah. So, and now it's probably the time. So maybe going for those is more justifiable. Whereas most of my argument was dude, you have no bench. You're getting a pep forward. You can't do that. Whereas I don't know. Maybe it's fine early. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's our current state of the pod. So shout out to the 3FML Prize League Mug League winners for August. They're each getting a mug. First place MB, aka MBFC. Second place James Hurd, aka FC Resh. And third place Zachary Dewitt, aka Waffle Mafia 3.0. And then shout out to the leader of the FML Field Public League, Joe Widdowson.
No shout out to fourth place.
It's too painful.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah. the fall from grace. And then shout out to the leader of the FML Field Public League, Joe Widdowson, MKM Massive, aka 216th overall. Pretty good. Pretty good. All right, so the main thing that every fucking person in our Discord asks about is obviously Ronaldo.
Ronnie boy.
Okay. There were too many names to even list when I was going through the question, so I'm just going to say everyone. The other questions around just what we think about Ronaldo that we should also cover, I think, are so Pozo and Dundee Monkey said, what's his effect on Bruno, Greenwood, and the other assets? Hemdog and Gub said, is he possibly a wait and see? We don't actually know the set piece situation, so they're a little bit,
Well, they might never get a pen again.
Well, that's also a thing. Hayden's wondering about a Ron Bruno double up, and Frankfurter said that Man U don't look like a great team so far. Is Ron good enough to change that, or is it just a trap? So where do we even begin, dude? I mean, absolute scenes.
Yeah. Well, first of all, he's still not in the game, so we don't have his price at the time of this recording, so we got to throw that out. But we're expecting him to be, in and around 12.5 forward, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's really rough to have watched that game today.
Last two games.
And then, compared to like yesterday when we're like, oh yeah, Ron, like best thing ever, you're just going to sit in the fucking box and not have to play defense anymore. And they'll just feed him chances because they have so many guys that create chances on that team. But, they do have good fixtures. I mean, they do home Newcastle, at West Ham, which looks like an exceptionally good attacking fixture. Home Villa, they've got a few good ones coming up. I think you're fine to kind of pop it. But after that, they got some really tough ones. And as we saw Man United last season in the tough fixtures, they're like at best case scenario scoring a goal. And they have the same, bottom 5 manager in the league there. Yeah. So I don't really expect, too much in that run. So, I feel like it's one of those where you'd either, jump now because you want the Newcastle game, like maybe captain, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely on people's mind and reasonable, yeah.
Newcastle have been rough, last couple of games. The whole season so far, they've just
been so attacking.
Yeah,
also.
really
like
open.
If they do that, it should just be open season, but I don't know, maybe I'm just telling myself a story.
Wolves did that, and it wasn't like they just were
Wolves,
able to,
I feel like, are at least, organized and better players. And Bruce is,
But I mean, I don't think that, when you're looking at, I guess Everton and Leicester, you can also kind of hold, but like Liverpool, Spurs, City, like those games are going to be, and then Chelsea shortly after, that little run. Yeah. I don't know if he's going to be just like you hold him forever kind of a player because, Man United are such an inconsistent, dysfunctional team with, again, the manager is just a despicable manager. So that's a tough thing to me. I think he's kind of the guy you'd want to have, for the good fixtures, unlike Mo or Lukaku, where the team is just, absolute nails every game. And that they're going to win like 33 or 30 or 33 games and just be in control and dominate, what you're going to get every time. And with this Manchester United team, obviously we watched them dropping points to fucking Southampton. They got insanely lucky to walk away with 3 today against Wolves. I mean, the mid-table teams are not, pushovers for them. So that's kind of where I'm thinking about with Ron. I definitely put him below Lukaku, below Mo, on that list of premiums. Like I put
him below Kane too. I mean,
that's fair.
I think Kane in the same way is more, quote unquote fixture proof. In the bankers, if we see Ron's training and fit and like looks likely to start Newcastle, like fucking captain him. Like no problem with that. Good to go. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. And I also don't know how many minutes he's going to play. I mean, he's going to play a lot, but he's going to be rotated in and out. Champions League, like some of the bankers might be the games they bench him. Like they still have Cavani and other really expensive good players, So that's a thing.
We don't know what kind of minutes he can. I mean, to be fair, to him,
he's a
he
fitness
doesn't
freak. Of course,
he doesn't play. He doesn't do anything. He just kind of loiters now. So he could play all the minutes.
He should, but like you said, rightfully so. I think if he was on the pitch today,
what happens? Nothing's
literally
he doesn't touch the ball.
No improvement in their performance. So, that's a thing.
Yeah. What does he do to Bruno? Because I feel like it makes Bruno just not. You can't just not an ownable player. Really,
I agree. Yeah,
because we look at Bruno. You take away 8 of his goals, and he's still great. He's still going to get, a lot of points, but he's not 12 million great.
Yeah, and 45% of his Premier League goals have been pens.
Yeah, so
and that includes a game week 1 open play Hattie. Before that, it was literally 50%.
Yeah, so
so if you came into the season and said Bruno's going to have 50% less goals.
Not going to work here anymore.
Not going to work here anymore.
But
we don't really know. Obviously we're not gonna ever fully know until they take a pen. But Bruno like fucking idolizes this guy. Are you kidding me? He's like he's the best Portuguese player of all time. He doesn't come and not take pens. It's probably in his contract.
He's the most egotistical
monster. Like there's not even a question in my mind.
Yeah.
But what about the other guys I think are maybe more interesting? Because Bruno's obviously, as we mentioned, really expensive. But Greenwood's scoring every game, mid-priced. Sancho, I don't know, maybe he'll get more assists. I don't. Sancho was so bad today that he's not on the list. But what about Greenwood?
I think to me with him, it's more the price and just the opportunity. Like as long as he's playing 90 at 7.5. I mean, we watched them play. I mean, he is invisible for 80% of the game, in terms of he makes good runs or whatever. But I mean, he's not like the focal point or like he's always getting so many shots and chances and shit. But, he's still playing and he still does get a couple a game. And, 3-3, he's obviously not going to play up top anymore. He's going to probably put Schiff over to the right wing, but he still should be able to just tick along, as long as he's playing well. Like Rashford's out and Sancho's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I feel. I feel like he's still just like a good hold, good don't buy, good don't sell kind of pick. I mean, maybe buy. I don't know.
In general, I think Ron makes every attacking asset much worse. Maybe, Greenwood might be at the level where like him being second wrong won't affect his shot.
Well, why do you think just much? Because he's going to be the hoover like to the balls and just like he's going to demand everything? That's
what he's always done. That's the thing.
There's still there's assist opportunities though.
For Greenwood.
Yeah, I mean any attacker. Yeah, I mean you put him in, or there's more space around him. Like I don't know. I mean we don't know shit, but like I could imagine where it just like elevates all of them because suddenly there's like a number 9 who.
That's just never happened. I mean I'm basing this off of history, not of what might happen. Which
not the story that we're telling each other.
Yeah, exactly. I mean Benzema's the first guy that came to mind. Who's just like his shots were low, his goals were like fine. He leaves, his shots go drastically up, his goals go drastically up.
But he's an out-and-out striker, but we're looking at these wingers, though.
And then Juve is the other most recent example, and it's just the hogging of shots is at a level that no one on Man United or really any team in the world except for, Messi can have handled before. Like the disparage... or the difference between him and like the second guy for shots or the third guy for shots in every season at Juve is so much greater than any Manchester United or any other team really. And he doesn't pass. He doesn't press. Like he creates nothing. The assists might go up. Someone like Shaw, I think like, okay, he's going to take all their left-sided corners. He's a good crosser. Ron is still insane in the air. That's a guy where I'm like, his assist total might just like skyrocket. Like 5 more assists or something crazy if Ron's just winning every header,
Yeah, that's a good shout. I like that.
But when I think about like, Greenwood who relies purely on shots and like, we talked about Bruno already and Sancho was bad and, I don't know about Rashford and obviously Cavani's no longer an option. I'm just like, I just don't know. I think Ron will get his goals and he takes like every fucking shot possible. I just think it hurts the other main attackers is basically what I'm gonna say.
So but, I mean, we're thinking. I guess it sounds like Shaw's maybe a slight uptick. I mean, he's in every team anyway. I don't know, whatever. But and then it's kind of Ron or bust or Greenwood, I guess. Where maybe a little bit.
You obviously hold Greenwood for sure, and we want to see it play out. Yeah, I mean Paul. Yeah, I mean
he's still cheap.
He's a nightmare if he's in the double pivot.
Keep playing. They need McSauce back. Well, we still have a couple days in the window. We'll see if they do something else.
Yeah, but if he's starting at left wing, which I believe he should, I could see that. He's the one passing majority.
I mean, and I do feel like Bruno's going to get his fair share of assists. I mean, he had 14 last year.
Yeah,
there's no real reason to think he shouldn't be in and around that number again this year,
right.
Assuming fitness. So, he could still be. And I still expect Bruno to get, something in the 20 to 25 return mark, but at 12 million, I just feel like, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's good enough, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just, he's just like priced out. It's like unlucky, you know what I mean? It's just like, it sucks for him. Yeah. I just think he's priced out. I mean,
yeah, he's priced out.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's enough.
But Ron Cap and like the bankers, I still just think it's insane. Like Newcastle, West Ham, insane. I don't know. We'll see about Villa. I mean,
if they're better in a month.
Yeah, I mean, they have no Mings, no Konsa, no Emmy for game week 4. Like, disaster. Yeah. Rom should have a day. But, yeah, Ron, I hope he's not, like, 13. I think,
I don't think that they would make him the actual most expensive player in the game. I don't think that really makes much sense.
I wouldn't be shocked, though, either.
Yeah, I mean, shocked is a strong word. I would be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. He's good.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's Man United stuff.
They were fucking terrible today. Disgusting. It's just upsetting that they walk away with 3, honestly, but whatever. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I mean,
they'll finish 4th and it's fine.
That's a lot of what I was saying with the stories and the things was about Bruno, obviously, and then how they actually perform versus like capping Antonio. Yeah. If we want to talk any more about that, but it was just, we saw them be horrible, and like
against Southampton.
Yeah, absolutely horrible. No McSauce, nightmare. No idea, no tactics, no changes, no adjustments.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
Improves the team by 0% over the week.
Improves the team by 0% over the week. We don't know who he's even going to play. We don't know where they're going to play. They're up against a better team. But we tell ourselves the story of and he almost did get behind. He scored the offside goal, but it's about the quantity more than getting the one chance isn't enough versus
Yeah, well, I mean, I was still surprised. I mean, I still did expect more from them. But it just
it was like over the top bad. I didn't expect that, but there were so many reasons to not go there. I think that we just kind of ignored because that's what we do.
Yeah, but I mean, at the other side of the thing, I mean, West Ham obviously, Antonio does the double banger, but I mean, they weren't like creating chances nonstop. I mean, we were very good money for our 2-2 draw with them, and we could have won that game. I mean, they had spells, but
win the game. I don't care.
Yeah, no, I'm
score the goals.
Yeah, but I mean, Antonio, he didn't have that many chances. He had a couple blocked, but I think that was his only on target shot.
I mean, he had 5 shots and 3 key passes.
Well, he had the assist.
Can't complain about that.
How many of those shots were blocked though?
I don't know. I don't have it open.
Okay, because I would guess maybe 4.
He basically had half an XG and half an XA. It's like it's not. He didn't go fucking crazy, but it's that's insane.
No, for sure. It was definitely more expected, probably, or more likely that West Ham would do a couple.
Yes, exactly.
And when we're thinking of
that's the point.
Then like Man United, because I was like they could do 4 or 5 against this line, and it just was based off of just stories and not
right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean I don't know if we want to spend more time, but that was one of the other things that I was thinking about when we were talking before the pod, and I was like, I'm just fucking like mad and upset because fucking FPL is FPL, but I don't give a fuck how other people play the game, but just focusing on how we play the game. I just feel like I need to analyze for myself, at least, probably both of us, like how our views differ from the herd, and then really analyze why. Because I think a lot of the time, we're betting against someone like Antonio. It's 60% capped or whatever in our Discord. That should perk our ears up and be like, why? I almost want to like make a list of this is why everyone's capping him. This is why I'm not capping him, and be like, is this right? Because
does this make sense?
Does this make sense? Because sometimes we come to that conclusion together, and and Mo, I think, last week was a good example, even though it didn't come off. And, for reasons ABC, we think this, we bet big, we captain that player. in another world, that's a huge rise for us, a gigantic rise, and we called that right. But I think with the hyper analyzing of those moments in time, it's like we could prevent the really bad weeks maybe more often. I don't know, something like that.
Yep. There's something.
Okay.
There's something there.
There's
I
something
think
there.
I'm exhausted of this topic right now. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's just go to other premiums. I mean, we got a lot of questions about premiums. People are on wild cards. The death of the middle class. Everyone's just asking about premiums and enablers, basically. That's all anyone cares about right now.
I mean, it definitely does seem like, Mo should be a staple in every team, and no one's really considering anything other than that. But between like Ronaldo and Romelu, I don't know how we're gonna do Rom and Ron. I can't even figure it out.
Wait, that was someone's question. Where is it? Fuck, I can't find it. But someone was like, "Can you please spend the 2 weeks coming up with different nicknames for Ron and Rom?" Yeah. I was listening during Euros, and it was a disaster. I had to rewind every 15 seconds to see what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
So we actually need to figure that out.
Maybe we just go back to Bukaku, tried and tested.
Bukaku is a classic.
Ron and Bukaku. It's just so many fucking
it's
syllables.
Too many syllables.
It doesn't. Yeah.
That's the problem. That's why we don't say like CR7 or Cristiano. It's like no, it just needs to be bang.
It feels.
Call one dough and call one coup.
Yeah, I don't want to do that, but we'll figure it out.
It still feels like Ron, Kane, Mo, Bruno, Kev,
Bruno,
Son.
I think you can take off there.
I'm just listing like those.
How many there are?
There's so many.
So many, yeah. I mean, I think the biggest question looking at, teams is, do you give 2 or 3 of them? So is it Mo plus 1 or Mo plus 2?
Yeah, that was Mukizi's question.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you're going to be fine to have 2 as long as you're very willing to jump, based on captaincy, because we're going to see these games, right, where, and, I haven't obviously looked at the fixtures, but where there's a complete home banker for one of them, and people are transferring them in, or, there's a run, we know Manchester United, they have that really good run starting in game week, this is far away, but game week 14, basically, where they have a really, really long run of good games. So, it might be one of those kind of things where you just have to be jumping back and forth and snip and snap. And because having 3, you just lose a lot of equity there. Unless if you really do absolutely nail, your enablers. But, we've been playing this game for a long time, and it's not very often that, Damari Gray type players are someone that you look at, for 4 or 5 game weeks in a row, and you're like, yeah, this is a good pick.
This feels great.
Yeah. Or, people are putting in, obviously, Livramento looks good now, but he's still an 18-year-old child, and as good as he's playing, is this 18-year-old going to play 3,000 minutes in the Prem? Probably not. No. Duffy, is he going to keep playing? Probably not. Brandon Williams, he's a fucking defender on Norwich. Yeah. So, when you see the teams with the 3 premiums, and, it's nice because you have those 3, you're probably using your wild card to build that. I would just make sure that you look really long and hard, because you might be a minus 12 away soon from having to do something drastic, because, you're...
I feel like you're attacking me right now as the 3 premiums since game week 1 team.
Have you had 3 premiums?
Yeah, I've Mane.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's look at your team, for example, right? As we talked about at the beginning of the season, Tony, Brighton defense, problem. You've gotten 1 return and 3 from them, and, a lot of other people, and Mane himself, right, is
the bigger one.
The biggest issue is that he's done nothing. I mean, he's not done nothing. I take that back.
16 points.
16, which is, okay, but he's fucking 12, and if he's not giving you, he needs to be getting more 20. He needs to be having 26 points or something, because you need those points to make up for the, starting Ayling every week, or starting all these Brighton players, or,
I mean, that said, if I, captained Antonio this week, I'd be totally fine. I'd be sitting here green arrow, fine, team's fine. Yeah. Mane about to have a really, really good run,
Yeah, but it's just the pressure points. It puts a lot more pressure on players that
I
are
think it's
already
doable.
iffy. It's definitely doable. No,
Yeah,
it's
I
a
think it's
1,000,000% doable. And I've seen plenty of teams that look good.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to because whenever I'm not wildcarding, but whenever I'm doing a wildcard team and I'm on wildcard, I want so much to be thinking about like what will I want in 3 or 4 weeks?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you don't have your wildcard left.
Yeah.
So like you need to be really thinking about that a lot, I believe in.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you skimp a little bit here or there and then you're just a couple of like 50-50 calls away from your team's a train wreck. And then you can't, you're forced to be putting out fires for a while or taking hits for just to get 11 out, and they're bad players. You're taking hits to get more bad players, like your cheap players.
And you're not doing the, Rom to Ron cap move. You're instead,
well, if you have
transferring your 4 or 5 or something, because
they got COVID, and my five guy got dropped, or whatever.
So
and I think also I haven't seen I feel like you definitely want to have a good bench, as we're already seeing.
COVID and stuff.
And it's, if you're putting 12 million players in your team with our low budgets right now, I haven't seen very many good benches. So I think that, I would do too. Like I would build too for sure.
Yeah. I think those are good reasons. I mean, my answer to him in Discord was it's really hard for us to answer this question not having tinkered, any wildcard question. It's like, I need to be playing with it
for
and
hours.
see what it feels like for days,
Yeah.
But I think the reasons you said are good. Are good ones. If you can't get a viable bench, and if you're stretching and like the other players in your team are fucking bad, like it's not going to end well. It's just not going to end well. That said, my team right now I still feel like is good, and I have my wild card in the back pocket, so cool. But other premium stuff. Dundee said, should we see Lukaku as a flat track bully, sub cap accordingly? Rory, with Ronaldo topping off the transfer silly season, feel like many wild cards are getting ripped. Any good reason to not start with Trent, Mo, Ron? So that's we just talked about that sort of. Palm, premium forwards, who should we be targeting and when? How many are you thinking about having at one time? And then signs that might be omens. With the 2-week... Oh, this is the question. With the 2-week break, can our beautiful pod partners come up with the nicknames for Lukaku and Ronaldo that aren't just Rom and Ron? Love you guys if they sound too damn similar, blah, blah, blah. So good job by him. I don't know. Has our ROM I just did it as we said to not do it. Has Lukaku, has anything changed after the Liverpool match on your view on Lukaku? Yeah, me neither.
No,
I mean,
he's one of the best players in the world. He's going to get so many points, and I think flat track bully is. I mean, he is that, and also he's good in all the games. He's good in every single game. He's good.
Yeah.
And I mean, his hold up was great. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, like, has your view changed on, like, are you trying to get him right now, or do you think you're still feeling okay with waiting till 7 with the Spurs and City games?
Yeah, I still am trying to play a little bit differently this year, where, like, I'm not trying to get rid of picks I think are still good in my team just because there are other good picks. Like, I still think that, like, Antonio and Jim are, they're not going anywhere. I am concerned about Bamford because Leeds are a mess. Oh. And I was completely floored by their performance against Burnley. It was just very immature and just bad. They just looked really, really bad. And they have Liverpool. So I'm not, like, throwing out the idea that maybe, like, a Bruno Bamford hit might happen for me.
That's what I was going to say is, like, I agree with you, but we both have Bruno and we don't like the pick, even though he does have Newcastle. And Ron might not even start. So it might be premature.
Yeah, which I think, and I need to really spend time over the international break because I'm still looking at Leeds. Obviously, home Liverpool is not good. At Newcastle, home West Ham, home Watford, at Southampton, like...
Wolves, at Norwich, it keeps going. It's insane.
So I mean, those are all really good. But at the same time, I mean, I have to do something about Bruno, and I need to get either Lukaku or Ronaldo
or Kane.
I'm probably not gonna. Yeah, maybe. But either way, I don't want to have Bruno. So I mean, maybe it's and the midfielders like maybe it's Kevin. I don't know. Probably not. So I have to figure that one out. But Bamford, Bamford seems like I could get rid of him, but I'm still worried about it because he's still, even in a really bad performance, he does the thing and then he gets 8 points because he's just always there. He's always not active, high work rate, always in the box, like
and the
always
team,
offering.
Attack. I mean, that was one of the things that we loved about Bamford last season was he doesn't blank like 3 in a row ever. Yeah. Like they just attack so much. He's so central. Like he just gets points.
I mean, he has 2 and 3. He's done nothing at all to warrant getting dropped. He's just on pace for, a similar output as last year where he nearly hit 200 points. So I'm having a hard time there, I
think rightfully so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I need to really spend some more time, I think, just really
let's talk
thinking
about Leeds. I mean, we got some Leeds questions. Ozzy said, can we get your thoughts on Leeds? They seem out of sorts, but most of their assets are mid-price glue guys. Are we better keeping Raf, Banff, Luke, etc. for the long-term ticks, or should we get rid until Bielsa sorts them out? And then Side said, are Leeds a strong avoid at this point in the season, at least until we see something that isn't hot trash?
I mean, I have like a lot of thoughts on Leeds, and I haven't fully put them to form because the game was today. There's so much going on that it is hard to process.
And Ashley Barnes stayed on the pitch for some reason. Yeah, there was like a mistake somewhere that he was still on the pitch and it should have been 11v10.
I mean, today, it took me at least a half an hour to he played with 3 at the back, and he was trying to keep. I think this is how I interpreted the game, but he was trying to keep the pitch like really, really wide so that he didn't get sucked into the narrowness of like the 4-4-2 where it was just like the shithousing. And the issue is the players, as we knew coming into this year, as was evidence last year, the players are just kind of a bit shit. Like they don't have 11 good players on this team. They have like 3.5 maybe, and they couldn't complete the passes required to break through. And it was so frustrating because Burnley they were terrible as well. I mean, Burnley have not played a good game. They're just really bad.
They haven't played a good game in
a long time.
Months.
Yeah. But like Ayling was at right wing back. He reminds me so much of Joel Ward from like 6 years ago when he had a better motor. That's all he can do. All Luke Ayling can do is run. He can only do that, and that's it. Every time he tried to build up or tried to do any overlapping anything, it would just end the attacking action. And on the left side, I mean, Harrison had a few good moments, but
Harrison, I don't think Harrison was that bad. Honestly, Rafinha was way worse.
Rafinha was really, he was passed out of bounds at one point. It was. But the minute they put Shackleton on at right wing back and they put in Liam Cooper, I'm sorry, I don't understand how he's still playing. He's not a Premier League football player. He shouldn't be near the 11. Let alone where's the armband? He's just some old person. But I mean, he's such a liability. He's just he's just such a liability. Put Struijk and Ayling and Llorente, like that should be the 3. The minute they put Shackleton on the right wing back, there were like 4 chances created in 10 minutes. It was so insane watching him compared to. And then this also, the other issue is this pulls Dallas away from his better position, playing more centrally, where he can kind of drop in between and play in the half spaces. He's just stuck on the left, and his pace isn't his best attribute, and they just had no cohesiveness at all. And Calvin Phillips was very bad today, which never helps them. But I think he was being asked to do too much. I don't know. They had and Rodrigo too.
We definitely talked about that last year too. Like if they leave Calvin and just say you cover the entire middle of the pitch by yourself, it's like what can you do? Like I
mean, meanwhile they were trying to actually injure him. I mean, the amount of challenges that were yellow card challenges on, I think there were like 3 or 4.
And the only other midfielder was Rodrigo, who's a fucking striker.
He's a striker, yes. And that's another problem. Like, we're just continuing to see him not even remotely being able to function with Bamford. He had those little bits at the end of last season, but
some of those also were with Bamford off the pitch.
Yes, right.
It was Bamford at 60, Rodrigo scores 2 goals.
Yeah.
They weren't all together, so there's a lot of things. The one thing I'll say in Rafinha's defense, because he's been very bad in every game so far this season, he never fucking quits. He doesn't give a shit.
He almost got a double return today.
Yeah, like he can miss 10 shots, and in the 90th minute, he'll still dribble 2 guys and assist the assister on the fucking goal. You know, so he's still class.
Yeah, the difference between this, I mean, I think this is a similar kind of thing with Man United is, you see a couple teams that are pretty disjointed and, just not playing well. They have a good manager. And, I still back Bielsa to, get a song out of them.
I do too.
And, it's only been a few games this season. And yeah, I just feel like they're still going to find a way to put it together. And, I still believe that, they'll keep their fair share of clean. I mean, they should have kept it clean today. It was very, very regrettable goal.
I don't want to talk about it.
Very regrettable goal they conceded. But, I still feel like, they're going to be okay. It's just a matter of, they have Liverpool and that's not going to be okay. They're probably just going to get done. Okay. But are you willing to, put your stake on them for that next run? Because there are a lot of good picks. I mean, that's the thing, is there's just a lot of good picks in the game.
So that's back to my, I guess, fucking theme that I'm going to bring up every 5 seconds on this episode. But like, do we want to see the execution first? Like, we probably do, right? Before we transfer in Rafinha or like, go back in on Bamford in my case, or, like, I think we always talk about this every season where like, it doesn't really, you don't get much from being the first on a guy. You don't get much for being like, I got Rafinha the week before you did, and when he got 2 assists or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like,
I got
whatever.
8 more points than you. It's like
8 more points,
cool,
and then everyone gets them because they're good. It's like, just wait for the execution, I think, is the right answer. And
that's fair.
I want to go.
The issue with that, though, is that I don't think it's binary, is that the execution happens to often coincide with the bankers. And there aren't so many of those. So, I know you have a run.
In this case.
Yeah, no, you have a run, but, every week you wait, you miss the banker. So that is like a tension point that, is contextual. How long is the run? Right. How much do you need to see? Because, this is like, I think comparing like Bamford and Jim is really interesting, because you have Wolves who have not scored a fucking goal yet. Yeah. And Jim is like creativity, ICT threat 1, threat, ICT 4, ICT index 3. Like, he's like a top 5 forward underlying. The ICT, it's foolproof.
Steel proof.
It's
steel
Fort Knox proof. I don't know.
Yeah, steel trap. I don't know.
And he hasn't done shit.
Steel.
Meanwhile, right, like Bamford and Leeds have looked fucking diabolical all season, and he has a goal and an assist with some points on the board. How do you feel about those players? Like, that's, the team, the play. It's a lot. I'm
very happy that you went there, because what I was going to say before you started was, and then I want to go to Wolves because it's a similar thing. And we got a bunch of questions about Wolves, and you own Jim. And eye test has been incredible, and they have no goals on the fucking actual season.
Well, eye test on the team's been incredible. Yeah.
But the individuals, maybe not. Let me read these questions. Mr. JD said, Wolves have great fixtures through game week 14. So similar to Leeds, they also have a nice fucking run. Is it worth looking at defense for enablers or punting attackers? They had a rough first 3 weeks, enough evidence that they'll improve. But do they have enough evidence that they'll improve as the fixture run eases? Dragon said, do you like any Wolves or Arsenal assets? We can ignore Arsenal, I think, comfortably. Jack said, Wolves have been unlucky to lose the first 3 fixture runs, second to none. What are their best assets? Who's impressed so far? And Shut Up Luke said, with good fixtures coming up, it's 0 goals scored this season. Do Wolves pass the eye test? Where are we at?
I'm obviously exceptionally biased owning Jim. So why don't you field this one first, and then I'll kind of riff off of where you're coming from.
I think it's good to talk about Leeds and Wolves back to back for all of the aforementioned reasons. There's a lot of similarity, and both are about to be on a huge run. So it's, do you get, they're not the same, but do you get an underperforming team who's about to go on a fixture run? Do you invest in them before we see the execution, before that FPL points actually come in? And I think there's a thin line between being patient and stubborn there. It's,
hey, careful.
Chill, bro.
I'm ready to fight, man. I'm fucking ready.
No, being patient means your player and their team are doing the things you want them to be doing, but the FPL points aren't coming in.
Right.
Which I think is clear in the case of Wolves and Jim. Jim has maybe other issues because he kind of looks rusty and a little sluggish, and he's still coming off a very long-term injury and all that stuff.
Slow. I feel like it's his process of the game is like he's just half.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
And then being stubborn.
I don't care. I just I want it to stop.
And then I don't care. And then being stubborn is the player and or team are clearly not doing well, and the FPL points aren't coming in, but you're just grasping onto like the story that you're telling yourself. You're grasping onto the belief or whatever.
That would have like Wilf.
Yes.
If I were to hold Wilf.
Wilf. Right. Perfect example.
Bamford's kind of in between those two things because he's getting
Leeds
points,
are
but
more complicated.
Yeah, but you're obfuscating away from the question. What is your Jim Wolves take here on this one?
Well, I said that I think that clearly in my mind, Wolves are doing all of the things that I want a team that I'm investing in to do, and players that I'm investing to do. I think they're looking good. I think they have a. I mean, Laga seems like a fucking great hire. Based off of 4 games with the whatever they did on the cup or whatever. But they have a system that seems to be in place.
Well, this is what I'm wondering. I wonder if he is going to stick with 3 at the back, because I wonder if he didn't see this little. How Neil always talks on the Anfield Wrap about this first 3 games as like a mini season before the break, and then it's like, okay, it starts again. They have 3 really tough games. Leicester, Spurs, Man United.
Yeah, going into the season, that's a top 4 team, the 5th team, and the 6th team probably. Yeah.
I mean, lost 1-0 in all of them. We're the better team in all of them.
Yeah, I agree.
So okay, but. Keep going. I cut you off. I realize.
No. You go. You finish what you're thinking. You're thinking maybe they change what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, because when we watch them play, right, it's obvious that when Adama is an attacker that you're relying on for actual goal scoring actions, and you only have 3 attackers on the pitch, you're gonna have a really hard time scoring goals.
Not enough. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he just doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. So. I mean, if he does go back to a 4 and he puts someone like a Podence or, a Gibbs White or just another player, or maybe even like a Phil. I don't mean Phil can drop in. I don't know if the balance would work, but if you throw one of them in and you take one of the fucking center backs off, I don't know if he could still be doing the same thing and play the same style with the lack of numbers there, but I wonder if there's something there, because maybe the balance is perfect the way it is, and when they're not playing, Varane, Maguire, and they're playing, against fucking, I don't know, Watford, Serie Alta, and Craig Cathcart, they'll score 5 goals. I don't know. Yeah. But I mean, I'm a little bit curious about that. But yeah.
No,
just
that is,
and I'm not like a Tim Spears, fucking Wolves ultra. I don't know anything like that to that level. But just watching them, they're just one short. They're with Adama, they're one short.
Yeah, for sure. There were definitely moments today and last game too where Jim would be the guy who drops a little bit, which we've seen Jim do for years. He would drop a little bit or drift a little bit wide to build up, and then he would look in the box, and there's actually 0 players in the box.
Problem.
That's where like a Jota type would have been. He'd be underlapping into the box and Jim plays him in. That's classic Jim. Yeah, I don't know I was gonna ask you, what did they do in preseason, because I don't really remember.
I think they were short
Weren't
players.
They doing some 4-4-2 shit with Phil and Jim and
I think they had a game. He did a lot of different things. Because remember he was playing Aït-Nouri as left wing. Mid. He had at left mid in a 4-4-2 and stuff. He was doing, but I think they were pretty short on numbers and and who was available. So I don't know if it was because he was trialing different systems, or if it was just because these are the humans I have. Right. But I know Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's certainly interesting. I mean, their squad is very fascinating. They have so many interesting players there that, all do very specific things, how to fit them together is it's a very fascinating kind of puzzle to me. And they do have a lot of quality in the squad, but
and they got Huang Hee-chan, the Salzburg Leipzig guy, who's another wingery forward who scored double-digit goals in Austria. It's between him, Trincao, Podence, Adama, Neto when he returns, it's who are the wings? Who's going to be that guy in the box for Jim? Who's going to get shots?
I mean, that's the thing is, we're talking about all these fun, kind of interesting players, but the goals are a problem. Where are the goals? Neto's out to the fucking spring. So forget about Neto. But I mean, where are the goals coming from besides Jim,
shots. They just don't have shots.
say Jim even, gets 20, like, okay, but who's going to score 10? Like, there is not a 10-goal scorer in this team. So
not a proven one, that's for sure.
Not a proven one. I mean, who's going to step up and do that?
I like what I've seen from Trincao.
I'm worried about him. I'm very worried about him.
Well, what I was going to say is, like, at this point, I don't think anyone's really nailed except Jim.
Yeah.
Including Adama, because they're not scoring goals. He has to analyze that. I mean, Adama's been, like, very good for most of the things he does, but, like, you have to look at that. Yeah, you're on 0 goals, 0 points.
It's the same thing for me. I mean, I will say this forever. He's a wingback.
Yeah, I mean, I think
he's a wingback. Period.
It's almost a different discussion. I think if like what you're sensing maybe came true and they added another attacker to the lineup and we're 4 at the back, and Adama's job was just beat everyone and get it to the final third and then give it to Jim or give it to the other guy, that's very useful. Like, that's fucking amazing. Do that.
But when he's in the central area.
But when there isn't another guy and there's 2 guys on Jim and they block all of his shots, it's a problem.
No, he's a wing. I mean, he's a fucking wingback, dude. Throw him at right wingback.
Yeah.
That's his position.
See, that's another big difference for me with Wolves and Leeds, is that Leeds, if they get going, like with Leeds, I want to see the good performance because it hasn't been there and I want to see it.
Okay.
But if it happens, there's a lot of options and they're cheap.
Right. Raf, even Harrison.
Yeah, and they're nailed and they're cheap.
Yeah.
But if let's say they keep some cleans, it's like Ailing 4-5, whatever. But with Wolves, I'm like, even though I believe in them more and the performances have been better and the numbers are better.
Even the defenders.
Yeah. I mean, Marsal, I think, is a decent pick, honestly. He's 4-5. He's crossing like fucking nonstop left wing back.
I still would be sweating a team sheet with him, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. So
even him, it's like even Cody. It's like who?
Yeah, Cody's their worst player.
They haven't even, and Mascara and Bowley's not. They're like, they have so many fucking players.
Yeah, he has a very large squad. Yeah, so that's the problem with them, is that like it's actually only Jim. Yeah, I think it's like the only guy.
If that isn't, that might not even be a problem. I mean, that might just be easy for us. Like,
yeah, I mean, it might be, but in terms of like, we talked about the death of the middle class. Like, some people are more interested in a 6-0 mid or a 4-5 defender than they are right now in a 7-5 forward. Yeah. So
no, I hear you.
We'll see if like, they get going. I'll probably wait on it, but I'm definitely interested in Jim, and like, all it'll take is one game and then I'm ready. I'm ready to jump, but I'm definitely going to wait for the one game. But if they like, just fucking shred Watford and like Trincao dawns and gets 3 shots or something and like they function and look great, and I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. They are who we thought they were, Yeah.
And this is the other thing that we've been talking about, just to wrap it, is that the underlyings are all there. So the the eye test is all there, and it's just the final action, the final thing has been lacking so far. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's obviously, Jim, very frustrating so far for me with him and my team just blanking his fucking life away while, Ings just shits points for fun, bicycle kicks and whatnot. And, all the other players that, like, Tony got on the sheet today, like pretty much every other forward that
DCL,
is in the
Ings,
game is
Callum. Those are like,
it's hard to find a forward
picks
who's blanked 3 times, like other than Jim, who started all 3 games. Like, I didn't look for this, but I'm sure there are not more than, 2 or 3. Pookie fucking scored.
Even Benteke has an assist.
Yeah, every fucking forward scoring points, and I'm sitting here with this fuck with like 5 million ICT index up my ass, and he's 2 points, 1 point, 2 points. I'm like, fuck me, dude. Like, it's a disaster.
I'm looking, and I don't think there's another guy who's played all 3 games and has a blank. Like, Neil has 2 fucking goals.
I mean, that's like put me in. Like, let me find the worst player. Yeah, I will pick him.
I'm absolutely looking for him. Ashley Barnes didn't start game week 1, disqualified. Ayew didn't start game week 2, disqualified. There's none.
Good. So
you pick the one
there
guy.
You have, and there you have it, folks.
And there you have it. That's called fucking talent. Let's talk about some of these enablers that we were kind of mentioning. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot. We just mentioned a lot of them offhand, but we got a couple of questions. Jerry said, a lot of people are downgrading Bruno to fund Rom. Who are your current picks of the cheap mids beyond Benrahma and Raf? Do Sar's fixtures make him a worthy punt? So he has home Wolves at Norwich, home Newcastle, at Leeds. Insanely good. And then Cardi said, is Gallagher a legit option, or was that Brace a red herring?
It wasn't a red herring, but he's not a legit option. I mean, he's going to be, the late joiner, I think, and he's just not going to get volume.
He's not an attacker.
No, yeah, he's very much a box to box, but also, it depends on our style, and we haven't had enough. But I mean, he's obviously fucking amazing. He's such a good player, but he's just like you said, he's not an attacker, and we're not going to have the volume. It's like it's just not going to happen there. But Sarr, I mean,
they are 4 extremely good fixtures. I'll give him that.
I don't know, but I still don't know what a good fixture for Watford is.
Yeah, and I don't know what the Villa, his goal was a fucking deflection bullshit. Off of Mings.
And I mean, it was still don't know. It was bad. Like, he should have nothing right now.
Yeah, like, even we don't know what a good fixture is, and even if we did, I don't know what they do with a good fixture. You know?
They might just have a little bit more possession and create nothing because they can't counter. I'm not sure.
Right. So that's a little sketch. But what are the other budget mids that you think are good? I guess he's asking for cheaper than like Raph.
6. Yeah. I mean, I
6
still
and under or something.
Yeah. I mean, I still feel like Bumo, even though he still hasn't returned, is gonna, get 14 or so returns. I mean, I think Grob definitely should be.
I have Grob on my list as well.
Grob should definitely be getting more attention just because his delivery is so good, and they have so many Groks in the box. I mean, he's gonna be chipping in
and corners.
Yeah, and
stuff
same
too.
with Bumo. I mean, and Bumo is on set pieces too, which is why these kind of things just matter so much.
Grob's been creating tons of chances. His numbers are very
good. And he almost
good.
scored that direct free. It was really nice by him.
And might be on pens, which, still don't really know. So,
yeah, we don't. Yeah, it could be Neil, could be him.
Yeah.
Who else? Who else are you looking at? Well, Ben Rama, we don't have to talk about.
Yeah, Ben Rama, we don't have to talk about. I mean, there's the Everton guys. Like you mentioned Gray before. Gray's been fucking great. Ducour's been fucking great. Do I expect them to both like last and have like their huge breakout seasons?
No.
Probably not, because that usually doesn't happen, but it's possible, and they have really good fixtures. They have home Burnley, at Villa, home Norwich next 3. So those should be on the list for sure.
Yeah.
And then honestly, dude, the other guy I have on my list is Fornals. Like, Benrahma, Antonio, everyone has and everyone knows. Fornals has been their best player for the last 2 games.
Yeah, best like player.
But
FPL points.
He got a goal, against you guys, and
he's returned every game so far.
He's been so good. Like he's had such a weird West Ham. Like he was, out of position, and they were just a fucking mess, and like, the team wasn't scoring goals, and Allaire was a nightmare, and Felipe was Felipe and whatever, but he's just fucking exploding right now in this central midfield role, like sort of number 10-y, like, I don't know. He should be on the list.
No, I mean, I think that's a good shout. The balance is just, speaking of balance, for them is just, they're humming, and, it could be a good opportunity to just lump in because, you kind of know what you're going to get from them right now.
Yeah, and we don't know what Europe's going to do, and we'll see, but they have Southampton in game week 4.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Man United, it's a tough one, but then they have Leeds, Brentham, they have some good games too. So I mean, a triple up isn't insane.
It's not insane. And then that's a lot of names. Questions. That's a ton of names. I mean, El Ghazi could maybe be in the rank.
Stop
no,
it.
I'm not even fucking trolling.
You're trolling.
I'm not.
El Ghazi
on pens.
They got Watkins, but I mean, he's not in their first team when they're fit.
No one's fit. Like Watkins played 10 minutes. Today. Bailey's not fit. Ings is not going to stay fit.
All right.
McGinn COVID. Like, I don't know.
I feel like on pens. Oh my goodness.
He's 6.
All right.
Although, never mind. Their fixtures are Chelsea, Everton, Man United, run. Spurs, Wolves.
Yeah, they have that bad run.
Yeah, so fucking. But other than that, I just have random questions from Discord. Is there anything else you wanted to like focus on?
And I feel like we didn't really talk about like the games, and we didn't talk about City at all, which I feel like we need to.
Yeah, I spent all my energy talking about like these FPL thoughts in my head and my anger. Yeah. What games do you want to talk about?
I mean, City. Just what's up with fucking City? They're just not buying any. They buy Jack, and that they're just gonna roll with like midfielders at striker all year. Is that what his plan is?
Yeah, walked the league last year with it. I mean, the window's not closed.
No, I know, but what the fuck?
Yeah, it's very weird. I mean, Ferran did the things. Raz came on again, subbed on at striker, got a big chance. Gab's looking good. I don't know. I don't know. They're obviously good. That's no surprise. They're good, and they were always going to be good, and they're always going to be title favorites until it's done.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ferran, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean
that was Ozzy's question. Was like, I know it's a meme, but should we be thinking seriously about Ferran? I think everyone's bringing him in, and I've seen everyone doing their Bruno double change or whoever double change, and it's like Ferran and Rom or Ferran and Ronaldo or whatever. So
I mean, he price rose, but it's everything I think that we talked about him last week still applies. Bald Fraud can tell me that Ferran is playing the best of his fucking life, and then he'll drop him for the next 3. So yeah, he's obviously gonna have those days out where they score 5 and he's involved in a couple, but he's still a good pick, obviously. 7-1 now. I think the other thing though with him is it's not going to get too carried away in terms of the price rises. So you could wait. There's not like a rush there.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, Ferran's a good pick, I feel like, but especially while Foden's still out, it's one less guy that he's competing for.
The thing that's tough, and we talked about this last week, obviously, is also just if we end up low down premiums and having like dog shit benches, it's harder. Harder to stomach that. Getting Gilmore on every other week for 2 points is not great. But how do you feel with Jack? Because I mean, I feel like I'm now on board that he's just a fucking good pick and gonna tick. I mean,
what he is.
The price again, the middle class. I don't know if it's gonna exist this season. It might not. Saving $2 million from Jack for one of these 6 million guys we just mentioned and enabling a premium might be like what the meta develops into. But if you were going to tell me before the season started, Jack starts and plays 90 in 2 out of the first 3 games and starts all 3, he's in 50% of teams.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit more complicated than that because watching him specifically and how they're playing, he's very, peripheral compared to, what he was like at Villa, where, but I mean, he does not shoot a lot, and he has been offering a lot more runs into the box than I remember him doing at Villa when the ball goes out wide, like on the right and stuff. And he does come in field a little bit, but from a positional perspective, like it's not what you really want, it's not dreamland, but we saw with the assist. I mean, when he does get the ball at his feet and he's dribbling in the box, it's like, get the fuck out of the way.
Cedric is backpedaling all the way into his own fucking net, basically. Yeah. And
I think that he's only going to improve. I mean, he's had Cancelo a couple games. He had, who played the other fucking game? Mendy. So, I mean, he's got to have some better understanding. Oh God, he's gonna get a better understanding with like what he's like, who's going where, and the things, and But to me, the most important thing is that Pep is just trusting him, right? He's just starting on 3-3, and
that's the thing.
And he looks great. I mean, in real life, he looks great. He keeps the ball moving. He's floating. He's coming into half space. He's offering the pass. He's moving. He's interchanging. He's doing 1-2s. He's doing everything. I think he's just going to continue to improve. So I think it's exactly what you said. I agree 100% with, he's $8 million. It's an awkward price point. And, there are so many other players in and around that price point that, whether they're strikers or midfielders that are just fucking flying. Yeah. Is Jack going to sit here and bang a brace and the triple return game? Like maybe probably once this year?
Yeah, probably not.
But like, is he going to actually blank like for more than 2 games in a row this season? Probably not,
And also the thing that we didn't know going into the season that also for me was like this might be a negative with Jack is that like, I thought Kev was very close to being back.
Yeah.
And, out for a while with Pep, he's fucking Pep. I didn't know what that meant. And, if Kev keeps being out, is Jack just going to get 18 assists this season? Like, that's very in the realm, that's not like crazy with how he's playing right now and how the team's playing. So, yeah, with Kev out, he's owning that side. He's being trusted. Yeah, he's just good.
Yeah, he's just good. I mean, he's got what is this, 15 points, so he's 5 points a game. I mean, there's room for improvement there, I think, too. So, the assists I think will come. It's just too bad he's not on any set pieces.
Yeah.
It's too bad. But I think the other pick too, we were talking, was T.O.'s on wildcard. And Cancelo seems like an unbelievable pick to me with no Mendy and, Zinchenko. Like there's just, Walker's been very interesting. Dude, he got ripped off at fucking halftime.
No, not against Arsenal. Against Norwich, he was like their best player. I know it's Norwich, but he was but he was the one playing in Gab every single time. Like their whole attack was get the ball to Walker, gets the ball to Gab, cut back. It's Norwich, but I'm defending him. He's fine, a good guy.
Fine. But it just, I mean, Cancelo they're just so few players right now that can play in fullback position, period.
Yeah.
And, obviously he gets into the final third, he puts the ball and it's like, holy shit, it could go anywhere. His balls are disgusting and everything he does is pretty fucking bad. But he gets weird. So much volume. It's just so much volume. He almost scored a goal. I mean, he could have had, I was thinking, if you put Trent there, Trent would have fucking 60 returns.
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Like, it's just ridiculous.
I mean, Pep would probably just have him be a free 8 and he would just be like Kev.
But Cancelo at 6 feels like really good. And I mean, the defense, they're
same as usual.
Shit. They're just a well-oiled machine and
they don't let up
humming.
shots. They don't let up
shit. They're humming. So, I mean, they've let up one shot on target this season so far, and it was the goal.
And it was a Son left-footed goal from like 20-something yards.
Yeah, 2 shots on target in 3 games. It's like,
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. So the defense is definitely right, which, when you put 3 premiums in your team and you want Trent, you're not having these.
That's what I was going to bring it back around to that, because I feel like Jack in a 3 premium meta doesn't exist. I feel like getting someone like Diash, Cancelo, 3 premium meta doesn't exist. 2 premiums, great picks.
Yeah, these are all players that you could actually put in.
And they're the types of guys you want on wildcard because they're 30 game week holds.
Yeah, I do think that, Jack over Ferran for $1 million more right now is really difficult to like stomach that.
I agree with that.
Especially after what Ferran just did. It's like, I don't know how you really would do that. It might be correct, like in air quotes, correct. Yeah. I don't know. We don't have enough data yet, but but to me, like having Jack, like after watching a few games, I'm like, yeah, okay. Not, enamored with his, shots or, whatever, but he's still just involved and he does float deep. But yeah, I mean, he's going to just get points because the team scores fucking 5 goals when they play at home against like anyone but the top 3 other sides or whatever. So there are points there.
Are there any other games that you think we should focus on? I mean, Liverpool-Chelsea was like crazy, but I don't think there was much like FPL shit that we like learned really from that. Aside from DCL. Chelsea defense, what did you say?
I'm aggrieved about DCL this season so far. 2 pens.
And Ings.
Ings, I'm like less so because he's been doing this for so long. But DCL, just like with the 2 pens to bolster, is just like he should be, just on a few points.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Ings should be on 1 world
also
beat,
a few
basically.
Points. Yeah.
That's it. It's frustrating.
Yeah. Veltman fucking comes on. I can't put Veltman on the list because I just like him.
He going forward, he was pretty good. Like I think the sub in that sense worked, and then he just fucking plows Seamus over.
Fucking fullback. Like, what are you doing? What do you think is gonna happen?
Rich was so close to taking that pen too.
They had too many senior players getting
Towns.
Around.
That's like why you signed Towns.
Yeah.
It's the only reason.
Oh goodness. No, okay. I mean Leicester, Braj out.
Leicester haven't played a good game also in months.
That was
like obviously the choke at the end of the season, and then they've been mediocre this season.
Braj, the disallowed second from Norwich was a gut wrencher.
That was brutal, but it's really Todd. Rough. It's Todd doing Todd stuff.
Yeah, fucking Todd.
It's only Todd is gonna stand like in Schmeich's fucking shirt and be like, What?
I feel like Schmeichs gets that call like a lot. I feel like I never see that call of disallowed
He's
goals for
very
players
animated.
being in the eye line of a goalkeeper. I feel like I only see that with him.
You probably learned that from Daddy.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, getting some calls his way.
Yeah, but no. Okay, let's. Where do you want to go?
Let's go to these questions now. It's not that many.
Okay.
Mishka said, asking this for the third week in a row. Should we be targeting Arsenal? Great question. Great question.
Pookie cap.
Oh my God. They're just such a fucking disaster right now. It's
Pookie, by the way, we had this little side
I forgot to
conversation.
mention Pookie. Actually, we didn't talk about any of the forward enablers. We only talked about the mid enablers because that was the question.
Because there's so many good, like 7 to 8 million forwards. But Pookie, he's dropped down to 5'9", and Adam Armstrong also at 6.
Armstrong, yep.
I mean, more so Pookie, I think. But, with Pens, you give him 5 free goals on Pens. Obviously you got 1 out of the way, but he's going to score like 13 goals. As long as he's fit, he's gonna just get those little,
He'll tick, yeah.
He'll tick,
When you compare him or Armstrong or even, I don't know, what do you think about Dennis? I think he's on this list too.
I'm not interested.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just not interested at all. I'm a little bit worried about Watford.
Yeah, I think they might suck, but I also think they had Villa, Brighton, Spurs.
It's true.
And
no, that's true.
He's started every game.
I want to see.
He's 5'2".
It's good. That's a pro for him. He's 5'2". But I want to see
not height, price.
No, but I mean I also want points from the players I'm transferring. Yes. I mean, if I'm going to learn anything from Ryan Brewster last year, it's like I want to actually think the player's going to get points.
This is where I'm going with the story and the fantasies. It's very us to be like, 5'2" Dennis?
Yeah.
Fucking straight in. He's nailed.
He obviously was good in the first game, but that game was a bit mad.
Yeah.
Watford have looked very blunt the last 2 games.
Yeah. So, he made some really good runs and stuff against Spurs.
Watford.
But he played wing. He didn't play striker at all.
Wing. Yeah, I mean, Kings, and it's bad. Just, they have so many players. Like, where's the consistency coming? I feel like.
Just talking.
No, I like that you mentioned the name.
Pookie is more, Pookie's 1,000,000% nailed. Main man, Pens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that.
But
Armstrong,
I like that pick.
What do you think about him compared to Armstrong, though? Because that's who you're comparing him to. Like, those are the 2 guys. Pookie's 5'9", Adam Armstrong's 6. I think I prefer Armstrong. I mean, short term, he has City and Chelsea coming up.
And Wolves and
so
West Ham and Leeds.
But West Ham, Wolves, Leeds,
they're not that bad.
Those are fine. But, like...
I mean, this is one of those things where it's kind of, eye test and watching Armstrong. He's there. But Norwich also have not played. They've played fucking.
Their data's like useless.
Yeah,
like Pookie has like 1 shot. Yeah.
So I mean, when they have Watford, they have Burnley soon. They have Everton. Those are games where they might be able to pass it around and create some stuff. So it's hard. It's a really tough one to call right now. You have to pick one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I would go Armstrong. You're not picking one or the other until we see more. But I think people on Wildcard are probably playing with like. A third forward Armstrong as an enabler type of guy or something.
I think this is more of a coin toss. I don't feel too convicted one way or the other because, Armstrong's been getting like a lot of chances and stuff, but the fixtures in the near term do look a lot better for Norwich to me. I mean, they have Arsenal, Watford, Everton, Burnley. Those are while Southampton have 2 really tough ones in that same 4 spell.
I'm much more on Armstrong to be honest.
Are you? Yeah. I think I remembered more about Pookie from that year. I mean, he only had 11 and he fell off for a long time.
His fucking toe or something.
Yeah, but I do like the stuff that Norwich have been playing. I've been pleasantly surprised by the way Norwich have looked so far against very tough opposition.
Armstrong, that's the thing. Like Southampton for me also kind of check that box. Like I don't think they're good. I think Norwich are maybe the worst team in the league, and I don't think Southampton are good either. But they also press like crazy, and they also just attack no matter what. They could be losing by 5, and they're still going to press and attack. So he's just getting tons of shots. He's shooting
a lot.
He's doing
exactly what
absolutely everything that you would want your player to do.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I'm with you on Armstrong. I think the pen is swaying me, and I'm just getting like a renaissance for Pokey. But
the bait, it's also a bait to be like, oh yeah, City and Chelsea in the next few. But like, what, you're gonna use a transfer on this spot? You're gonna get Pookie now and then transfer to Adam Armstrong later. Like this spot, if people are wildcarding into this spot, you hopefully never transfer, and he just sort of.
But that's you're doing the opposite of what you said you weren't gonna do at the beginning. No one doesn't ever get transferred. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, someone gets injured, you double swap. Like, he's the worst player in your team, you upgrade. You know, that's.
But you're not planning on like short-term fixtures. That's what I'm saying. You don't see Man City in 2 weeks and be like, I'm not getting him because City.
But if you look at it in like maybe more of like a 6 or 8 game week window, and you're saying like, okay, well you have 2 really bad. You know, I don't know. I think his fixtures are good
in 6 to 8.
Yeah, but you're looking also with Pookie's fixtures are good the whole time, right?
I don't know. I haven't looked.
I don't know. Let me look. Well, they have Chelsea. So they have only bad fixture they have until game week 15 is at Chelsea
and Brighton.
Yeah, I guess Brighton's pretty rocky. Okay, let's go on. That was enough of that.
Yeah, but so back to Misha's question, which was your answer was Captain Pookie. Are we targeting Arsenal?
I thought they were gonna fire this fucking guy.
Apparently, he's what they want. He's like the happy to be there guy or something. I don't know what they're up to.
The thing that we talked about, and I'll just reiterate, is like Shaka has a red card. He just sits there on his fucking hands and doesn't make a change. You know, I mean, they already were playing with no midfield, and I mean, the first thing that he should have done, players don't even warm up. You know, just change your clothes and you make the sub to take a forward off, and you put, you know, El Neni or Sambi on. You know, it's just the fact that he waited till halftime, and then like it's just, well, like, what do you do? What are you doing? You're actually like actively trying to sabotage your team, and not, man, it's derelict. It's just it's so fire. He's doing so many fireable things, and he just hasn't been fired yet.
Those are like 2 separate points, and I think both of them are like, what the fuck is happening? The first point is, he started with no midfield.
Yeah, doesn't. He
started with just Xhaka, and you know, I don't count Odegaard and Smith Rowe. Like, they're basically like attacking midfielders, or Smith Rowe's wide player. And then Xhaka gets sent off, and he doesn't. He just is like, okay, cool, we'll just play with like no midfield. It was just like, so I don't know. Long and short is they're a fucking mess.
The main issue
Norwich will probably score. I don't know.
Norwich should win that game. The main thing is, you know, they play Norwich and Burnley in the next couple. You know, what are we doing here? We're not really getting players on those teams. So then they play Spurs. You know, Brighton also, like, we're not getting attackers there. Palace, we're not getting attackers there. You know, Villa, like, you know, it's worth a thing to just remember that, you know, they're bad right now. But you know, I still don't believe this will continue like in perpetuity.
When you see them as a red on the, you know, fixture shit on the FPL
just remember that it's
you have to remember. You have to remember.
Yeah.
Side said, please describe and rank the manager liar tiers. Is there any manager that can actually be trusted? Fucking Potter spits.
Bielsa, most trustworthy person in the world. I would let him watch my son.
Most trustworthy we've ever. That's good. That's a good scale.
Yeah.
If he can watch the sun, he's fucking in.
1,000,000%.
Between like Potter, Pep, I throw Woy in there. Braj.
Well, Woy doesn't manage in the Premier League anymore.
But these are the guys that come to mind, because Eddie Howe also comes to mind as like the top tier. In between, I don't know. You know, don't trust any of them, maybe except Bielsa. But
Nuno's bad.
Yeah,
he lies a lot.
Yeah, it's
Tuchel's been pretty good.
Yeah. Does our
Bruce also? I don't think anyone cares.
Yeah, maybe we just don't even read the pressers.
I feel like Bruce is pretty good, because I always feel like I know everything about Newcastle.
He's honest. He's honest.
He talks about every single player.
Yeah, I feel like I trust Fark.
Yeah, Fark gives information. I like that one. Yeah.
He tells it how it is.
That's good. That's good enough for this one.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's see. Fat said, so I know I was spamming the Vardy cap pretty hard, but you did say he was the best option. Apparently on Friday Night Live, I said Vardy's the best cap option.
I said that.
You said that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like, I don't
You were
remember.
on Kane. You were big on Kane.
I don't remember that. Oh, that was a good call by me.
Yeah.
He said Kev had lots of success last year transferring in and out premiums to target cap hauls. Is that something you might factor in the future when Mo, et cetera, play tough teams, or do you see the downside to it?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely like we've been talking about. I
think
feel
it's
like,
in the mix. Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely something to consider. The most important thing there is that the backbone of your team is really good, so that you don't have to be putting fires out with your transfers because you have to be able to afford to spend your free transfers doing something like that, which is luxurious because all because of obvious reasons. So no, definitely interested in that.
Absolutely.
But the other thing too, though, looking at the fixture runs, like, right, we talked about Ronaldo earlier. His fixture run's good for like fucking 4 months, and like Lukaku or whatever, right? The fixture runs are like very like blocked off, so you might not need to, do that many like back and forths as we might think,
right?
Because of that.
I mean, when Rama's home Southampton, at Brenham, home Norwich, at Newcastle, home Burnley, like we don't need to like rotate cap.
Yeah, you just captain him.
Just captaining him, yeah. So, it's usually blocks, right? I mean, we're not going to really talk about game week 4 that much on this pod, but, even just looking at this week, there's a bunch of guys in the mix. This is maybe a week that's a good example of that, right? Because it's like, we mentioned Ron is home Newcastle. Who else? There's someone else. Oh, yeah, Villa don't have Emmy, Konsa or Mings, Kane and Son have Palace. So this is sort of like an example of like, you transfer in a cap potentially, but usually it's runs.
Yeah.
Terp said, cheeky Terp, he said, someone in quotes asked in a preseason pod if Greenwood, Jota, and Ferran were all traps. How would you answer this question now going into game week 4?
I love Terp so much.
He has back-to-back Terp questions. Are they all traps? I would say no, they're not all traps. That would be how I would answer that question now.
Same. There's your answer. That's the next question.
Terp said, part 1, with all the curveballs since game week 1, Ron, 7-0 City forward, do we really expect that there's going to be a more chaotic situation that will require our wild cards before Christmas?
Guess who's on wild card?
He is?
Yeah. That fucking question. Let's lead the witness more. No, Terp. You got it all right.
You nailed it.
You nailed it. It's all correct.
That's so team dependent, though, also.
Yeah, of course. Of course it is.
Yeah.
No, but in seriousness, it's a fair point. We're going to have
great time to wild card.
The window's shut in a couple days. We're going to have, good data. And, we'll know more than we ever known about this season.
Yep. And we'll also know like who's quarantined. I think we'll know, some people are still going to miss games in 4.
Yeah.
We'll have a lot of info. It's definitely a good time. I wouldn't try and talk anyone out of wildcard. I think it's a great time to wildcard. I just don't think that we have to. Cardi said 3 game weeks in, which keeper pick stands out? Emmy and Sanchez are both disappointing. I guess he's probably also like a wildcard, based question.
4 or 5 keepers are we don't know anything right now, honestly. I feel like it's still a complete fucking mess. No one's really emerging at all.
Raya, I think, is like
but I think that's like wolf in sheep's clothing. I think the first game was complete one-off, Friday Night Lights, first game in their fucking lives at home and all the whole thing. And, they certainly didn't convince for a clean against us in the one they kept. I feel like they're going to be a fucking sieve. So I'm not convinced there. I just feel like we don't know anything. It's you might as well just throw a dart. I'm
saying Raya mostly because the other stuff has come true so far. Like decent. I mean, not decent. High BAPS, like high BPS. He only has 1 actual bonus point, but his BPS is good.
Yeah,
he's making a good amount of saves. He had 4 saves in 2 of the 3 games, and their numbers team wise, even though it's only 3 games, are pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a chance that they're not that bad, and he has the other stuff to balance out. If you were gonna choose someone who's like, is this guy gonna be a Meslier or whatever? It could be him.
I'm still holding out hope for Bachmann.
Yeah. Go for it.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah, keeper, a nightmare as always.
Yeah.
And then
the thing though that I was thinking about as I peruse, the ICT rank, because it's really good, is, Bachman's what?
Because it's really good. You just mumble that under your breath. So good.
Bachman, he's played 3 games, right? And there's 20 teams. There's 20 teams in the league.
Yeah.
In the entire Premier League, right? There's 20 teams.
Yeah.
So there's 1 goalkeeper for every team. So there's 20 total goalkeepers.
Yeah, totally. Yep.
And Bachman's threat is 35th.
You hate to see it.
I mean, you're telling me that there are 14 goalkeepers who have not played yet that have been more threatening than him who has played.
Oh,
even worse than that, his creativity is 38th.
Oh my
38th.
God.
So there's 35th in threat, but then there are numbers 36 and 37 goalkeepers who have not played, who are better at him than creativity. He's better at threat, but creativity is better.
What fucking machine do they use for these numbers? I'm so curious how they come up with this shit. What about his others? Influence 14. Okay.
He's influencing.
He's not getting relegated in influence. Staying up. Not bad. Okay, Bachman. Get in there. Last question was sides again. He said Chelsea defense seems good. Any viable options there, especially for wildcard? So you were all over Christensen.
Well, we need to see the Kunda shit, right? I mean, we're 2 days too early
there's
on this
Kunda
one.
And there's honestly Thiago Silva. I mean, those were his first minutes, and he was fucking
he was
perfection.
so good.
So
I don't think there's an option.
A lot of guys. I still maintain that Rudiger is their best left center back and going to start the majority of games.
Yeah, I think if I'm picking someone, it's him, but I'm not picking anyone here.
Yeah.
I know Alonso. I'm very surprised by Alonso. I don't see it.
Yeah.
I think Cholo's going to play plenty.
If he exists.
Good point.
Still haven't seen him in 3 months.
I feel like he's just like COVID or something. It's like something weird's
There's
going
something
on.
going on.
There's something going on, but Alonso was far from his trustworthy steed when he came in last year. Tuchel, so he played him obviously, but for him, we're not looking at Marcos Alonso playing 3,000 minutes anymore in this stage of his career. So it feels very points chasey to me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I mean, again, it's we look around with the city options. I mean, even like Matip, he's fit right now. There's Regs. There's a lot of good Trent. There's a lot of good premium options. Even Van Dijk, Robbo. I want to go elsewhere. I think than a iffy. Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
Even Shaw, right? Shaw's better than any of these.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. We're gonna do our teams and caps and shit. Next week.
Yeah, forget about doing that.
Yeah, we're not going to do that now. It's 2 weeks away. International break. Blues.
What's your initial? Let's give a little diddle. What's your initial gut? Do you think that are you looking at a Bruno out situation?
In my
a Bruno Tony little. Beep, boop.
Yeah, I've definitely thought about a Bruno Scarlet for my captain and a 4-5, and that would be either I think. Lukaku's a viable cap with no Emmy, Mings, and Konsa. I think that's a disaster for. I think Ronaldo's a viable cap, and I think Kane's a viable cap. Sorry,
you're so fucking hard for Kane,
dude.
He always fucks us. Always fucks us.
He always fucks. Period.
Well, he didn't fuck against Watford.
No, but he fucked. He may have not finished, but he fucking fucked. I mean,
and you have 2 frees, right?
No,
you don't. So it would be a hit.
It would be a hit, but I think it might be worth it. But do
you know what your transfers on point?
So far, so good. Yeah,
2 for 2.
2 for 2.
Love that.
Just need to rectify cap, and then we're cooking with gas. But the thing I still think with Bruno is that who knows if Ronaldo's going to be ready or even have trained or anything. Yeah. So he might be a ridiculously good pick for game week 4.
Yeah, and I mean Mo has Leeds, which is perfectly captainable.
Right.
So I'm leaning towards saving over here. By the way.
Nice. Okay.
I feel like keeping Bruno, not hitting Bruno out, makes sense. And
yeah. I mean Rom, I
don't know.
I wish Emmy, Konsa, and Mings were fit because otherwise I just wouldn't be tempted at all. Yeah. And I would be I'm so comfy waiting till 7, which was my original plan. But with that fuckery, I just feel McGinn has COVID. They They have Douglas Luiz and like no other midfielders.
McGinn
and they
had
have
COVID. I missed that completely.
Yeah, they have no center backs.
McGinn would get
Emmy's
COVID.
out. It's gonna be
Fucking
Jed
moron.
fucking Steer going up for corners and shit. It's like, dude,
I mean, it might be very, very painful to not be on ROM cap.
Yeah, and then of course Ronaldo too will be in the mix. So.
Okay, well,
what about
we'll
you? So, who's your cap on right now? Just
on
preliminary.
Mo.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought that that Leeds were really bad today. So, but I mean, it's so far away, so we'll see.
So far away, 2 weeks away. Let me slap asses. We're still getting new signups, new Patreon signups. So thank you to everyone. Welcome. We got Gorby, Swen, Brian Dickinson, Juho, Hanelli, David Tortoise, Thomas Larder, and Tom Royal. Yep.
Thanks.
In there.
Thanks all.
Hanel, not Hanelli. My bad. That's it, bro. International.
Yeah, so when are we potting again?
TBD.
All right.
Don't know. We could just not pod and just do Friday Night Life, before Game Week 4. Or we should probably pod again next week, I think. Like the window will be closed, Ronaldo will be added.
We'll see.
TBD. Might throw a fireside in too.
Okay.
Any last words?
See you tomorrow.
Bro. Check us out at FMLField.com. Follow us on Twitter at FMLField. Support us at patreon.com/FMLField. Subscribe, rate, review, and cheers.